Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode. My name is Anton Babenka, and I'm founder and CEO of company which is called Better Job. You can see it here, and I'm also Ukrainian. For many people, it may be a surprise. Yes, I'm from Ukraine. I live in Norway many years, but I still support Ukraine everywhere where I can. So, if you are from Russia, you have to know this and feel free to put dislike as you sometimes do on some of my channels. Nevertheless, I'm not going to talk about politics today, but just stop Russian aggression. That's enough. So let's talk about stuff why you're here, right? I mean, you probably want to know more about Terraform and infrastructure as code, maybe something about AWS. So that's what I can probably talk more. And well, yeah, my t-shirt is kind of obvious today. So that's how it is. Let's get started. So, well, where to start? Let's start with this one. Well, it's front tab. Anyway, so a couple days ago, I sent a newsletter on weekly.tf, and I can see people are subscribing quite actively after I mention it on this YouTube streams. So feel free to go to weekly.tf, put your email, and you will receive new stuff from the community. I found this interesting article by Pierre where he was talking about Terra Grant and TerraSpace. And if you want to know what kind of things are these tools and whether you need to use it for everything, multi-environment, multi-account, multi-regions, he does pretty good job explaining it. I also did several reviews of these tools and I talked to developers of TerraSpace before, so feel free to find it on my channel, which is also available. I mean, you obviously know where it is available, but I just want to mention that there were this is episode number 61. So I did 60 episodes before talking about different Terraform tools, doing live coding. That's what I'm going to do today. And in general, feel free to subscribe and share it with your peers. I think it will be relevant for people who are learning Terraform. And by the way, yeah, I want to say hello to Lucas, who is a very dedicated person. He is from New Zealand and it is midnight for him. Well, that's pretty cool. So let's see what else I want to mention. Yeah, I also want to say big thanks to everyone who is supporting me. Several companies joined, several individuals joined over the past week. So thank you guys for supporting my work. It's highly appreciated. If you want to be the same cool person or company, go to github.com/sponsor/Anton Babenko and you will see what kind of stuff I do if you don't know still. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Once more, big thanks to everyone who is supporting me for such a long time. In about months, I will have an episode with or about your. Maybe there will be somebody from Bridge Crew, so we will be able to ask a few questions. Somebody from there, and yeah, I'd like to review your. I have heard your well about a year ago, but I'd like to have a deeper look into this tool. So if you guys are curious about infrastructure as code tags and pretty much what kind of piece of Terraform configuration has created certain resources, your is one of several projects which can help you to do that. Another one which I have looked before was called, and it still exists, it is called TerraTag, TerraTag by M0, which is similar tool. And by the way, can you hear me well, or should I be more loud or less loud? Because 2 minutes ago I had issues with my Wi-Fi, so now I'm using slow Wi-Fi. I hope it works well. Good, great. Thanks, Sven. If you from from Bangkok can hear me well, then I think the whole internet can hear me well. So thanks for telling that. Good. And Tanya is also stand with Ukraine. That's really great. Cool. Okay, so stay tuned for more content, which will be in the near future. It will be, as I said, not just live coding things, but also some Terraform tools reviews and some very cool content, which I'm currently planning to make with Spacelift, because I want to show how to actually use Spacelift to deploy really production stuff. Not like Hello World, but really production stuff. And I will learn a lot myself while I will be preparing for this episode. I think it will be in about a month. So stay tuned for that. Cool. Yeah, tuned for stormy London. Well, I found yesterday a video where I think it was some sort of ferry was hit by a huge wave in the front, and then glass broke and the whole ferry was full of water. It was crazy. I like sailing myself, and this is very much what I like, what I enjoy. So your or your, uh, yeah, it's definitely not my. So maybe it is your, but no, I'm kidding. It's actually YOR or something like that. Yeah, the storm was somewhere in Germany, but I guess the whole weather is around that area as well, like Germany, maybe England, maybe some other countries. At least there is nothing like that here in Norway, where I am. Hello, Maxime. It has been a long time since I saw you, so welcome back. Great. So now when we say hello to pretty much all 6 people who are watching, no, I'm kidding. There are a little bit more people. Let's see what we are gonna to do today. So, yeah, AWS provider version 4 has been released last week. It was major release, and if I look into upgrade guide for this version, I have to say that it is not as big, or there are not so many breaking changes as you would expect. So in general, if I look into, of course, I can look into changelog. That's where I usually look. The changelog is a little bit too encrypted. I mean, it has a little bit too much to comprehend. So, oh my God, my COVID is still not completely gone, so I sometimes may cough. But if I start coughing completely, then I have to terminate the stream. I hope it will not happen. But if I'm not talking, I can still write code. So it will be all right. So, but where is mute button? Just in case I need to cough. Ah, here is mute. Okay, I just test drive mute button. It works. I could cough and nobody could hear me. Okay, let's talk about Terraform AWS Provider version 4 upgrade guide. So HashiCorp write very good explanation of what has happened. As usual, some things like in provider configuration, but today we will be mostly interested in S3 bucket refactoring. And that's pretty much it, what I want to highlight from this upgrade guide. You can go to registry and you can read this upgrade guide yourself. I'm not going to repeat it. I just want to highlight S3 bucket refactoring is what we're going to do today. And another thing which is quite cool is let me find it. Yes, it is here. Plural data source behaviors. So what it means is that we had this situation in the past where we wanted to use data source, but we wanted it to not return an error if something was not found. For example, we can use AWS VPC and let's say, like in this example, we are trying to get VPC by this tag, but if it does not exist, then it will not fail. So it will simply return an empty list or empty resource, but it will not fail, which is very, very good for situations where you want to write really kind of customized piece of code. So take a look into everything what is with as with plural. There are a lot of data source in this. What else I want to mention? Yeah, another thing which is related to AWS service, what this data source can do. Let me show it in action. Let's see. Let's see, just 1 second. Is it? Okay, well, but this is another mic. Can you hear now? Yes, now you should hear. I didn't change anything, honestly. It's yeah, mic is just crazy. YouTube had no sound. Well, I don't know how to improve it, honestly. I do my best. I didn't click anything during live stream, and well, so I'm using Crisp microphone to get rid of lots of noises, but sometimes it doesn't do great job. Anyway, so if I look into AWS service, what I can use it for? For example, if I use it and I just specify that, hey, I want to use it for this service ID and I specify elastic load balancer. What this data source returns is DNS name. Yeah, evil technologies. So the most useful thing here is DNS name, where you can see that it's something what you can put inside of like IAM statements, and also you can use reverse DNS name or even reverse DNS prefix for something. Most important things to my mind and to kind of my experience is that there is no DNS prefix itself, which is amazon.com. Why this is necessary is because sometimes when we are writing IAM policies, we need to specify service name, and service name for elastic load balancing is actually elastic load balancing.amazonaws.com. So it shouldn't be reverse, it should be just normal. Currently, there is no DNS prefix available in this data source, so we need to do something else. But another use case where it can be very useful is that you want to do something whether this service is even supported in this region. So if I use service which is not available in EU West 1, then supported will be false. And then I can use it in my logic somewhere. And yes, and hello, Lucas. So it's over midnight, but Lucas is still with us, which is great. You will hear a little bit more about Lucas' work, I guess, next week. Lucas is a great person who is living in New Zealand, but he speaks Brazilian Portuguese. So isn't it cool that he volunteered to translate Terraform best practices, and he did it. Okay, so AWS servers is one thing, but it's not part of what I want to show today, so let's just move on. So today let's focus on S3 bucket and S3 bucket changes which were implemented inside of this break-in release of AWS Provider. So now let's look into what is actually the problem and how to change it. So if I look into the source code of S3 bucket and go to versions, you can see that currently it is using everything what is inside of 369 or newer. So which means it will be 369, 370, 369.1. So everything what is inside of version 3, but older than 369. This is how it reads. In fact, I'd like to write this code so that it will be supporting everything what is newer than version 369, including version 4. So how to do this? First, let me change this code here, and now run terraform init upgrade just to see invalid version constraint, because obviously it should be written something like that. Good. So which version did I install? I have no clue. Providers, I guess something like that. So I installed version 369. That's not right. So it should be modules. No, it's examples. Complete, and then versions. And here I also have to change it. Just to make sure that it actually use version 4. Let's say. So it is using version 4.1 from shared cache directory because I downloaded it before, so so that I could work remotely, I mean offline, writing this module without even internet connection. So terraform apply, and now I should see some errors. Yes, exactly. So value for unconfigurable attribute. And a bunch of different things are not configurable. Well, a lot of things. So now let's try to, well, first let's make a branch, get checkout, fix TF provider version 4. Very creative name. I actually thought, like, do I even have any naming convention myself? I don't think I ever have. Sometimes I start with fit or fix. Sometimes I use underscore, sometimes I use hyphen here, but I don't think it's so important. Anyway, so now I'm working in this branch, and I want to go to this file and see, like, make it as a small scope as possible. Currently, I'm making something inside of a CloudFront log bucket. Cool, another log bucket. So I'm trying this module multiple times. I'd like to do very small things if possible. So no other modules should be involved, just invocation of this module is enough. So let's see what is going on here. So this is small resources. So log bucket, another log bucket, and like complete S3 bucket with bunch of different properties. So let's, for now, remove, let's say just remove everything and leave one thing which is easy to work and iterate. Of course, it breaks everything inside of output, so I just comment out everything and if I hit apply now, I should see a little bit less errors. Still a lot of errors, which is good. Okay, so now let's see what is actually the problem here. It says cannot configure a value for login. Its value will be decided automatically based on result of applying configurations. Yeah, that's pretty self-explanatory. No, I'm kidding. It's absolutely not obvious. So what is exactly is not obvious here? To my mind, these Terraform errors are still written rather encrypted and not really helping me, because Terraform should know what has to be changed into what. So it should be a little bit more verbose error message, similar like in Rust, where you see very, very precise, very detailed explanation in most cases. Okay, so let's go. It says, let's start with one. What is it? Login. Where do we have login? So this guy. He doesn't like this piece because, from what I understand, and we can look into this together now. So if I look into what has changed inside of this S3 bucket refactoring, the whole point is that previously we've had one huge resource where now many of these settings like login, access controls, and many other things are controlled separately, and the S3 bucket resource will have them as read-only. So I can get rid of this error message if I just don't use this login. But since it is in module, I still have to have this option available. So what I need to do is, when I see this thing about login, let's scroll to the part about login. I don't expect a lot of code, to be honest, but who knows. So here is it. Given this previous configuration, yes, this is what I had. Since the login arguments read-only, the recommendation is to update and use this another resource and remove this reference. Great. So let's take this guy from here, pretty much, and put it into code and see how things go. I'm trying to explain it a little bit simplified way. I would probably do a little bit quicker if I don't have to explain what I'm doing, but I hope it makes sense. So I will just put it somewhere here for now, and since there is only one thing which is gonna to be taken care of login inside of this module, it's not example, sorry, it's this. And same for bucket. So bucket, which is called this. So now let's think about second thing. When should we take care of this login? So first of all, it is definitely create bucket. So this means it's 0. And well, we don't care about policy as such, but what we should care about, oh my God, this guy. I will take this from here. When I work on big files like this one, I usually put it somewhere at the top as a comment so that I don't have to scroll. And yeah, this bam, bam, bam is pretty cool. Okay, so so when do we need to have this one? So if user wants to create bucket, that's fine, and when user actually specified anything there, right? Yeah, okay, let's keep it like this. So we need to figure out one single condition when this login should be attached. That's actually a quite good example here, but let me just, I will put it like this. So it's not actually a count, right? It should be for each. Why for each? Because this expression here can be not known yet. So the way how to handle these expressions where you have some left and right part is actually what we just recently figured out, another subset of potential use cases for expressions, where we can say that let me think. No, it's actually not going to be needed here. It works well when you have multiple, like 0 or multiple configurations. But here we have just one. So let's keep it simple. Let's keep it really like exactly as it was in dynamic block for now. But I also need to handle this create bucket somewhere here. So I will merge these two expressions, but a little bit later. What else is necessary here? Target bucket is this guy, and this one is target prefix. So target prefix is a little bit old-fashioned, I would say. Let's write it really shorter. Well, 2 characters shorter is already shorter. No, what it means is that we try to execute this one, and if it returns not error, then we use it. So for example, if target prefix is not set, then the whole thing will be unresolved and there will be error, so it will simply use null. So try is like optimistic attempt to find first non-errorable result, I would say. Okay, so that's pretty much it. So now we need to rewrite this guy to take into account var create bucket. Before that, I want to just execute it and see if this error is gone. So this error, what is it? Versioning, right? So the error about login is gone. So now I need to look into login configuration somewhere. Well, it's not even here. So it was pretty bad example to try this out. Login, yes, here is it. Okay, well, I actually need to play with this guy first. No, let's keep it like this. I'll just add this login somewhere. No, what I'm doing? I don't need CloudFront log buckets because that one just shows how to use Grant feature. Yeah, okay, well, that's much better. Okay. Oh my God, there are multiple people from New Zealand. I didn't pay attention to chat, so that's pretty cool. Okay, so let's see what I'm trying to do. So log bucket doesn't have login configuration, while S3 bucket has login configuration. So we are working on login section, which looks like this, and now we should not see it in this in S3 bucket. Well, I don't see any login here. Hopefully it works, or it's going to work. Okay, before I apply the same things to the rest of things, I need to get rid of all errors to actually polish whether this structure is good or maybe is not so good. Maybe I need to come up with something else. So to do that, I need to get rid of this one, and I just put it here, and I put some ABC123 just as a fake bucket, and I don't need the rest. So now I think it should be much better, and I just have to fix a little bit, right? No, I still need to do a lot of changes inside of resources itself because I'm trying to set things which are not settable anymore. Okay, so to do that, let's go into the module and take a look. So what we need to work. So we need to get rid of grant, course rules. I wish I can get rid of course rules completely from my life entirely, because it's just a nightmare. So I completely agree with Eric, who from AWS Developer Advocates, who is also complaining about course. I spent so many hours, I think even days, trying to get it up and running on different occasions. So website, server-side encryption, replication configuration. So pretty much all of these big boxes, like lifecycle rule, I guess is also gone. Yeah, lifecycle rule, replication configuration, server-side encryption, object lock, right? Object lock also. Object lock. I don't see object locked here. No, object lock is not. Object lock is still part of this. Good. So what else is remaining here? Versioning, lifecycle rule, ACL, request pair. It's a funny feature, but acceleration, a website. Okay, well, looks pretty good. I mean, of course, if I don't say that it looks pretty good, who else can tell that it looks good? Oh, finally, maybe we will be able to get rid of this amazing hack where we need to specify null inside of quote as string to get it actually to work in TerraGrant, which is insane, but this is actually one of the most problematic module to use in TerraGrant. That's why there are a few know-hows inside of it, like wrappers. Versioning. Versioning. Okay, versioning is also part of separate resource. Good to know. Let's see. Reference to undeclared configuration. Yeah, that's because I was very fast, but I wrote it incorrectly. Okay, so here it's not login, it's actually each, because it is inside of this for each. All right. Is it better now? It's thinking, and now it is returning is map of string with two elements. Yes, exactly. It is map of strings. So how can we? Must be a map of string. So what I want to do here is that I want to accept this map, and if map is provided, then just use it. And of course, I don't need to invent a lot of magic here, because we do this in many other places. I just need to find the one which actually is gonna to work here. Let's take a look into Lambda. In Lambda, we have, let's look in examples and try to find what kind of input is similar. So where we are iterating it. Okay, so allowed allowed triggers looks good. So it's map. No, it's bad. Let's see. It's always map or list. I think this guy is actually similar. S3 existing package. Yeah, I think this is. Though we are not iterating there, we are just using by keys. So let's find something else. No, but okay, let's take a look at maybe into allowed triggers and how exactly I'm using it here. So allowed triggers is also used in for each, and I'm iterating through this guy and append a bunch of if conditions. Yeah, that's exactly how we do it in 99% of places, and it actually works. I'm surprised that it works in IAM. so nicely. Okay, so let's take a look here. It's so this is how it was almost written before. It's better to write it like this for, and is it k? Do we care about k? No, we don't care about k. And we are iterating through the whole. No, we are not iterating through the whole thing. Well, we don't even care about that, because we don't create a bunch of things. We are creating one or nothing. Right, okay, maybe it's not going to be nice here. Let's see, let's try to think one more time. So what if I just use whatever login was specified, then we are just using that one. Of course, I will be able to convert it into list. Known only after apply. Who told this is a map of string known after apply? It's a little bit strange because it shouldn't be everything is known. Come on. Right, login is map of whatever. Good, okay, let's take a look into another module. I'm a little bit lost right now. EKS definitely has a lot of things like that, but it's slightly more complicated there. Let's look into event bridge. In event bridge, we have a lot of maps of something where we use this key. That's not what we want. Yeah, we use these keys everywhere. That's why it's different. Okay, so for some reason I need to find a way. Let's see. Oh yeah, why do we even need to use for each in this specific case? Because it's just 1 or 0 operator, right? Oh my god, I'm a bit lost now. Okay, so it is going to be var login, and we are going to use so it is if create bucket and this guy is not empty, right? So it's like and length of whatever is more than 0. Yeah. So then it is it is var login, and we can find it by this one because there should be this is required thing, so it's going to be fine. And this is optional, so that's why we are going to try to use it, but if we cannot find it, then that's live. We just skip it. Looks a little bit ugly, but still, well, there is absolutely no way to iterate through something like that. This thing I don't really like myself. Yeah, I don't like it because it's a little bit ugly, like lengths and keys and all this comparison. But logic is the same. So what we are going to make, we're going to make this login bucket with these things, and that's it. And we use this try var login blah blah blah. Yeah, that's it. Okay, so let's take a look into what should be changed for the user. Preferably absolutely nothing from the code perspective. So this code is exactly the same as before. That's very good. That's like the goal. Users should not touch anything unless it's absolutely critical. And what else is is necessary. So I will have to document terraform state. What means that expression 1, 0? Yeah, sure. Let me explain. Let me put this thing somewhere here. Here is a good place. So expression 1, 0, this is called ternary operator, where it is an indicator for Terraform that the whole resource will be created if this expression is evaluated into true, which means that one resource will be created with this configuration if user says that he wants to create a bucket and he specified login configuration, which means in this case, if users for some reason write something like this, where they don't specify target bucket and target prefix, then there will be 0 here, so it is false, and the whole expression will be evaluated into 0, and there is no resource being created. If I would use for each, I can achieve very similar thing, but there is no need to do that right now. While for each is very powerful thing, and I'm sure that it can be beneficial, but it's a little bit tricky to explain right now. So where it is beneficial, just an example, and I may probably hit this if I continue working on this, is where you're trying to make this configuration, but at the time of execution, Terraform doesn't know what is target bucket actually going to be, because this guy is not yet created. And if I would use this configuration now, that's actually a quite simple thing to check. So I'm going to put this guy here, and just for fun, I make another bucket without this one. So, and I put 2 here. So I'm going to make one bucket and it will write logs into another bucket. But as you can see, it is not yet known here. So that's why count may produce an error. And I think it will produce an error as well right now. That's a crazy thing about login, unsupported argument into 149. Oh yeah, of course, I just have to comment it here. So let's see one more time. I think it will be an error right now. No, okay, I'm wrong. Well, the reason why I'm wrong is because I don't use this guy inside of this expression, not left, not right part. I can make it, let's say, just for fun again. If user specified something, then we will evaluate this one. But let's rewrite this one into something more complicated, which is going to be, again, length of this guy is going to be more than 0. Then it's 1 or 0. Now it should fail with famous error message. If it's not, then I have to be fired. Yes, I'm not going to be fired. Cool. So, so what it means is that this left thing is not known yet. And we saw this error message many times before. The workaround about all of this is to come up with for each expression where all elements inside of that map will be computed based on this. You can see into IAM module and EKS module and Lambda module, event bridge, step functions, soon VPC. There will be lots of these expressions because, well, it is the way to write it. But of course, I don't have to leave it like this. I will keep it 1, and this is fine. It's going to always work. But again, good to know, good to check this. Okay, let's see. So this is This is not needed. And this one is also not needed. So I can just put something simple here. Simple dimple. Right, okay, so let's just make it and see that it's actually working. Okay, bunch of things are created, and here it says target bucket, the owner of the bucket. Oh yeah, of course, I don't own this bucket. Though I own another bucket, which has very cool name, fixtures. And well, actually, it's another account who owns it, but still, maybe it will work. No, I mean, it's another account who owns it, so I need to come up with some bucket policies to allow cross bucket access somehow. Anyway, it's not point of this one. So this is going to be working fine. What about empty configuration? Let's see. Nothing to do. Well, because nothing has been done. Okay, good. So this is a type of thing which has to be done for many other resources. So now let's look into what other resources has to be implemented. And if I look into the code, it's kind of similar, but I usually like to copy this stuff from documentation, put it somewhere so that I at least know what I'm going to work on, and all of these arguments. So all of these arguments will have to be implemented one by one. So login is pretty much done for now. Okay, what else I want to do based on just login? Another thing is upgrade guide for people. If I look into one of our module, which was updated so many times recently, it's called, thank you, Lucas. Yeah, I feel very well. I don't have any symptoms of COVID anymore, but just after I talk for 15-20 minutes, I start cough like crazy. So far, 50 minutes. But yeah, if I start to speak emotionally and kind of change my voice, then I will cough much, much faster. That's why I sound so boring today. That's life. Maybe I always sound boring. Okay, so here I just want to show how upgrade guide looks like. So if I go to EKS, which is heavily used, and Brian has written a lot of good documentation there. I just want to show what I'm going to repeat into S3 bucket module as well. So list of backward incompatible changes will be much, much shorter than this one. Something removed. Probably nothing will be removed because that's not the point of this release. Maybe no, variables will be the same, so everything will be exactly the same. What will be actually changed, let me see, edit, should be somewhere at the end. No, it's not here. Okay, then I go to another one, which is RDS, and I see something there. RDS, come on. So inside of RDS there was a similar type of work done recently. Let's see if I go to, where is upgrade guide? Upgrade, yeah, this one. Okay. Apparently, yes, it took some time to renew. Okay, this is a command which I was thinking about. So I will have to write an example of how code looked before and how it will look after. But this is the point of review or rewrite, is that it should look the same for the user. While internally there will be some Terraform state renames, because some name of some name of some name of resource will be changed probably. No, it will not be changed. That's the cool part. So for the user, it will be actually very simple because users will continue use the same resource. Just a few more resources will be created for them, and that's it. Like in this case, I added this resource, but nothing else has changed. Users will not have to write terraform state mv command and do something crazy about it. Right, okay, so that's pretty cool if it works. I also thought for some time that, oh, maybe that's a use case for this moved block where I can specify from foo and then to and then bar. But then I think this is not even needed here. I mean, moved is a feature of Terraform 1.1, I guess, which was released about 2 months ago. But I still hardly find use case for that one. And what I was thinking that it can be used is that here from foo, I can specify from AWS S3 bucket this dot login, for example. From now on, it's going to be using bucket login, something like that. So to take attributes from there, and from now on, it's going to be using another attribute. But now I can see that there is no need in this one. So then I will have to tell HashiCorp, I take my words back, because I thought that this is a use case for moved. If this is not a use case for moved, then why moved even exist? Okay. I know that I should not sound very pessimistic, but I still don't understand the direction where it is all going. Right, anyway, so there is no need to write upgrade guide pretty much at all, because if I do a good job inside of this module, users will just run, change version, update provider to version 4, run it, and it will tell like, hey, I'm gonna to create new things. Yeah, it will have to be tested quite carefully, because if user use, let's say, some policy on a bucket or versioning, I don't want this information to be deleted from the bucket or like disabled for a short amount of time and then enable it using another resource. This is something what has to be prevented. So maybe I will have to explain some instructions to actually import this inside of so there will be command not terraform state mv, because it obviously doesn't work, but there will have to be a command which is terraform import of this bucket login configuration, which will be required. Yeah, but it's not actually so complicated, I would say. So that's a good sign. Okay, what else? Okay, so let's take a look into this one a little bit more and maybe find some more complicated use case. So acceleration status, ACL, course rule, these are rather simple things. What is really complicated is this server-side encryption configuration, where I have several levels of configurations, but they are rather similar in general. Yeah, it's they're similar in a way that I always had to create, like in this case I even wrote a command for myself, maximum 1 block. Sometimes I need to have also 1 block, but sometimes I need to create this is magic. Sometimes I need to create multiple things, like in this case, because they can be list of maps. So lifecycle rules can be multiple. Okay, let's pick what we can pick. Let's pick Grant. Grant is easier. Versioning is the same. Course rule is the same. So Grant, cool. That sounds like a good fun stuff to do. So for Grant, I don't know what to write, so I'm going to go to this amazing documentation, steal this amazing piece of code here. Actually, don't have to even think about this, because this rewrite or this update, the way how guys implement it is quite good. I don't have to touch anything from internals of it. So they simply split resource into multiple. That's my kind of opinion. And my opinion is wrong. My opinion is already wrong because here we have another thing which is called access control policy as dynamic block. And then we have grant, grantee, permission. So we have what we had before was grant, URI, permission. Well, so it's another type of structure already. Okay, so for this one, probably user will have to import. And yeah, just import. Yeah. So, but at least I cannot use this piece of code to make the same structure. So I need to write something new right now. Okay, well, there is owner, there is grant, there is access control policy. It looks a little bit complicated, so let's use search. Does search work? No. Because when you type something here, you see a lot of crap which doesn't have any relation. My favorite here is when you want to search for instance. Which instance? It's a bad joke. I shouldn't laugh so much. So I want to search for ACL. ACL with ACL with grant. No, is it ACL? I can see now. Okay, so they actually make ACL. There is no way to specify grant, right? Grant. No, there is no grant for S3 bucket. So they combine ACL and grant right now. Yeah, that's a good time to do, I guess. Anyway, users are in the middle of upgrade, so they will be able to handle it. What it means for me, let me see. Yeah, that's one of thing which I had before. So when ACL was specified, I use this guy. That's why this code was colliding with grant. So you need to specify, you need to disable ACL and then use grant. So now they made it inside of one resource, so I will be able to handle it kind of together, which is a little bit more complicated for me, but still quite easy to do. So here I need to type URI ID. Okay. Oh my God, I, as usual, forgot to share my screen, but yeah, it's still here, optional, conflicts with ACL. Yeah, bunch of different properties were added, so I need to write dynamic blocks for all of this. Well, it's been a while since I wrote this module, so it will take some time for me, I guess. But anyway, for now, let's copy this guy here, like what kind of conditions it should be. Again, it's not example, it's production ready thing, as usual. So is gonna to be multiple things. And is it gonna to be multiple thing? I don't know still. Let's take a look into what kind of inputs were there. So previously inputs to this were like this. So it was ACL, you have to disable it, or you have to specify a list of maps for a bunch of things. Okay, so it will still be same list of maps of Grant. Mm. Well, it's not actually a Grant, it's access control policy. It's Grant plus owner, plus maybe even something else. Let's see, what else can it be? Sometimes when I don't know what I'm writing, I take a bunch of code snippets from everywhere and put them together and see what kind of similarities I have there. Like in this case, I can see that ACL is going to be handled at the same time using the same resource. So I will put it here as well. So it's going to be a var ACL for now. Okay, that's it. That's all I need to know. So Grant plus ACL. So now let's write a bunch of dynamic blocks for this thing with the goal to make an example. This one is pretty much done. There is not much to look into. So now we are going to make another one which supports Grant type permissions ID. Well, it's a little bit different structure, so maybe it's actually smart to ask user to rewrite the code itself. Let's see. If I specify grant, what kind of stuff can be inside a grant? It can be grantee and permission. And grantee itself is a little bit bigger. It's email address, it's ID, type, URI. Not everything was even supported before, like email address. So maybe it's probably better to respect this new structure and ask user to just update the code if they're using new version. There is no point for me to try to use old structure and somehow kind of enforce some comparison or conversion. Okay. Well, yeah, I think that's pretty much it, what I'm going to do. What else is here? Import. Well, this is something new. I didn't know about this comma. S3 bucket ACL can also be imported using the bucket and ACL. Separated by comma. Not sure I understand why would I want to do this private here. I mean, the whole thing is that I have this bucket ACL and bucket name is unique everywhere. Why I would want to specify ACL for it? I don't understand why. I mean, isn't this just enough? Where I specify that I want to import this under resource S3 bucket ACL and bucket name. Why I would want to specify account or ACL? A little bit magical, but still, the whole point here is that access control policy has to be written. So let's do this, and I will continue this after stream because time runs out very fast. So how to do this? Let me just start with so dynamic. It's been a while since I wrote this stuff before, so maybe I will do some crazy stuff which which shouldn't be there, but who knows? Okay, so grant can be multiple things, as well as why I'm writing this. I mean, I don't think I ever written anything from scratch for, I don't know, a very long amount of time. I always go to any module, copy parts between it, and customize it, because I don't need to remember all of these crazy expressions all the time. So we have grant as well, and then inside of grant we have grantee. These things are identical, so there is no need to have it even as a reference, right? So inside of grant, this expression, I don't know still, there is no required content, so we don't have it. There is only dynamic content, which is grant. Again, I don't know this expression. And then inside of it, there is grantee. Inside of grantee is required, right? Because if it is required, you can get rid of a lot of dynamic blocks. So inside of ACL, grant is required and owner is required. Oh, that's pretty cool. That's cool. Inside of grant, grantee is required and permission is required. Oh, that's even better. And owner ID is required. Oh, well, so that's pretty cool. We don't have to do a lot of dynamics in dynamics. Cool. So then grant is required, so we can use it like this. And this one is okay, but we need to use something like that. And probably there will be another variable, which is access control policy. Yeah, probably it's going to be needed. So inside of grant, there is another piece of content, which is called grantee, and that's pretty much it, right? So grant, grantee, something inside, add something here. Then after grantee, there is also one owner. Ah, I get it. It's actually important to highlight configuration block being granted permission below. So how many grants can be? Well, many grant and grantee can be, right? So it's like many inside of many, but owner is only one, right? I mean, at least according to this thing, it is like that. Well, it's kind of, yeah, it's kind of easy to figure out just by trying it. I'm not going to spend time on this. I think in general, that's it what I was able to accomplish. I plan to do this thing today. I mean, I will finish it eventually. I still have a couple hours. And after that, I wanted to do another one, which is breaking change with Lambda, which is actually much simpler, because inside of Lambda, I'm not using the module. I'm using just S3 resource. And I use resource in a very simple way. I use this resource somewhere here. I guess this is it. S3 bucket object. Something inside of this resource also has to be moved, like server-side encryption, I guess, maybe ACL. So it will be very similar change. But yeah, I was a little bit too optimistic that I can accomplish it during live stream. So I will finish it after this, and that's it for now. As usual, if you like this live stream, we'll be glad to see you next week, as usual. And that's pretty much it. Thanks everyone for finding time, and have a great night, at least those in Asia Pacific. And the rest of you guys, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whatever. See you.